Hello my lovely viewer, I am back once again with an Italian fantasy superhero film called The Invisible Boy. Watch the full video to find out the interesting part and take care. The film starts with a skinny sick man trapped in a room attempting to draw something on the wall with chisel. Across the supervision room, doctor and a commander are keeping an eye on him. The older man passes out from tiredness after completing the painting. A child's sock falls off his left hand. The commander calls someone right away to alert them of what they notice in the painting on the wall. It's a coastal city, and Michele Silenzi hurries to a local costume shop, insisting on a Spider-Man costume. The shopkeeper, however, refuses to open the door because it is not yet time. Meanwhile, the teacher puts his phone away in class. Martino has been absent for 2 days, according to the principal and a police inspector who enter at the same moment. Giovanna, Michele's single mother, is the inspector with the principal. Michele's nose begins to bleed as soon as the two leave. After that, he goes to the bathroom to clean it. As the school bell rings, 2 bully boys burst in the door, stealing the $50 bill and shooting Michele with a paint gun. The poor kid is chased and abused, and his classmates can't quit laughing at him. Michele returns home and notices his cousin dressed in the outfit. He gets on his computer and goes to Stella Morrison's Facebook page, where he chooses to attend her Halloween party. Michele pulls a smaller bill from an old box and walks to a shop full of spooky costumes and masks. Michele is offered the opportunity to purchase a well-known Chinese superhero suit with unusual superpowers. Michele doesn't seem to fit in with the crowd of amazing costumes at the party. He encounters Stella, who is dressed as Marie Antoinette. Brando, the shorter of 2 bullies, then teases him about his terrible costume. The bullies suddenly show everyone on the television a video of Michele silently stalking Stella. Stella, outraged, asks Michele whether he's telling the truth, but he runs and locks himself in the toilet. He screams at himself in the mirror and begs the costume to make him invisible. Michele leaps from the window and dashes back home when the light goes out. After getting up the next day, Michele's dog Mario continues to whine at him. He's astonished when he can't see himself in the mirror while brushing his teeth. He removes his shower jacket and enters his room naked, but his mother cannot see him. He is now invisible, just as he had wished the night before. Giovanna believes he's hiding under the bed, but it's Mario, not him. Michele writes a note to his mother informing her that he has to go to school. When the dog detects his smell, he approaches Michele and barks, which makes Giovanna nervous because it's just a photo in that position. Michele dresses up as a ninja and covers his entire body before riding to school and sees Ivan. Michele removes his clothing and enters the classroom. Michele then uses Ivan's paint gun to shoot the teacher at the board, causing her to become furious with him. He slips into the teacher's office and imagines himself taking an exam with all of the perfect answers. He then proceeds to Brando's tennis court, where he destroys his match. Tennis balls move by themselves in the locker area, which astounds Brando. He's following a ball to the restroom when he hears a voice from behind him. In a panic, he leaves. Michele returns to school and enters the ladies' locker room, where she observes the girls in their underwear walking around him. Suddenly, a young lady throws a towel at him. He reappears at that point, causing the girl to scream. Faced with his mother's questions about the problem, Michele refuses to disclose his secret. His nose is bleeding once more. Giovanna receives a call informing her that Brando has also vanished. Michele's hand becomes invisible in Dr. Basili's psychology class, and he has to hide it beneath his jacket sleeve. Michele rushes home as the school bell rings. When he gets to his room, he asks Candela to leave, but he doesn't realize she's still inside. Observing him remove his scarf and fade into the background, Michele explains the costume to her while covering her mouth to keep her from screaming. Candela feels his superpower is magical and that he can use it to benefit others. At the police station, Dr. Bosley informs the officers that the 2 missing persons cases are most likely volunteers, and that they must remain cool at this time. When his mother phones him, Michele acts as if he is not at home. His mother is so concerned about him that she restarts smoking after 12 years. When she's on the phone with her mother, she unintentionally admits that Michele isn't her biological son. Michele dashes out of the house, saddened, after hearing all of her words. Stella is approaching toward Michele while sitting alone on the swing. Stella talks to Michele without being terrified of the moving swing and even gives him chocolates. He paints a face in the sand and Stella adds a smile to it. Stella allows him in and hides him from her mother after noticing the smiley icon on the room window late at night. Stella moves closer to him to feel his presence, and they kiss unintentionally, unaware that he has reappeared. Michele jumps from the window and goes home. Stella is practicing gymnastics at the mini stadium. Michele is on his way there with his dog to tell her the truth and apologize to her. A man in black, however, shoots her with a dart gun, knocking her out. After witnessing a man kidnap Stella, Michele and his dogs attempt to rescue her but are unsuccessful. Following that, the police, including Giovanna, arrive. She compliments him on a job well done. Stella is awake after being taken away. 2 doctors are performing tests on her, and one man claims that she is not the one they are looking for. Worried about Stella, Michele decides to save his crush on his own. He returns home to look for the costume, but it has shrunk due to the washing. Michele requests that his cousin to put it on, but it does not function. He accuses his mother of ruining it, denies being her son, and leaves. Meanwhile, Stella meets up with Martino and Brando, the 2 missing boys, at the pier. When Michele runs into the mystery man who was staring at him the last time, he tells him that he is Andrade, his father. And Andrade explains everything about their past, including how many people died and became ill as a result of a radioactive tragedy. Only a few of the remaining people have had their DNA altered, transforming them into superheroes. All of the superhumans were imprisoned in Siberia. The firm had it tested and exploited for bad reasons, and Drake was able to read people's minds. Michele's biological mother arrived one day. They shared the same fear and fell in love, and Michele became their first child. Fearing for their son's safety, they take him away. Unfortunately, they dropped a baby's sock, which was discovered by the company's military dog. They fought the soldiers, and she becomes invisible and attacks the military. They eventually defeated her, but she had already passed her superpower on to her son Michele. Andrade had no choice but to abandon him since he was afraid of his son's safety. He was standing in front of Giovanna's house, who he knew to be a decent cop. He believes she is able to protect Michele. Meanwhile, Giovanna is concerned about Michele, who has failed to return home. Dr. Basilai is then informed by her that Michele is not her biological son. At the harbor, Andrade informs Michele that a nearby fisherman is about to call the cops because he may believes Andrade might be a kidnapper. As a result, Andrade erases his memories and offers Michele a suit that allows him to become invisible without taking off his clothes. Michele rushes to his room as soon as he gets home to change into his new outfit. When Dr. Basilai hands him the cookies, Michele notices a wound wrapped in a cloth bandage. Michele tries to flee, knowing he belongs to the company, but is unable to do so because all of the doors are locked. Michele becomes invisible when he puts on the suit. Michele attacks Basilai with a knife, but he is unable to harm him. Basilai uses powder to determine Michele's spot. He also assures Michele that with his help, he can maximize his superpower. Michele, on the other hand, kicks him between the legs and runs. Michele then jumps on Ivan's motorcycle and tells him to get away as soon as possible. Michele brags about himself and tries to explain everything to Ivan. When Giovanna returns home, she finds mess everywhere. She notices Andrade standing at the door. In the meantime, in the cell, the 2 kids create a human ladder to assist Stella in getting out. She walks on the wall over the guards' heads and runs upstairs to avoid being discovered. She discovers a large limelight on the roof of the building and draws a smiley on it before lighting it up to the sky. Ivan and Michele rush to the location after recognizing Stella's signal. After Ivan shoots the controlling system on the gate, Michele enters the base and discovers Basilai. Stella is apprehended on the rooftop by the guard and returned to the cell. When Michele notices this, he hits him with a fire extinguisher, takes his gun, and forces the 2 guards to enter the cell, allowing the 2 missing boys to escape. Stella, on the other hand, informs Michele that there is also an older man trapped in the ship. Then he follows Stella to help the elderly man, but as they get closer, Stella changes her expression and points the gun at him. It turns out to be a trap, and Stella is controlled by that old man who has been confirmed to be a company boss. Moreover, he admits to manipulating Basilai. Michele has no choice but to give up. Ivan meets Giovanna and Michele's father outside the base. And Andrej is aware that Michele is not in the ground, but in the ship, and that the base is about to blow up. They save the two boys and descend to the bottom. Giovanna wants to kill Dr. Basilei after discovering him in a room, but Andrej stops her because he knows Basilei is not lying. When they all run out of the base, it explodes. Giovanna continues to search for her son Michele and the girl. Michele has no choice but to use his superpower on the ship, murdering all of the guards. He and Stella enter the control room, where they successfully manipulate the system and float to the water's surface. Andrej then chooses to erase the people's memories of the event since he is scared that Michele would get into trouble again. After that, everyone goes back to their regular lives. The scene shifts to Russia, where Michele's mother, who was thought to be dead, was only wounded in the encounter. She defeated the division at the time and now rules over it. In fact, she was the one who dispatched those individuals to bring Michele back to her. The woman is now opposed to all normal people who treat them as if they are weirdos. Finally, a guard informs her that, while they have lost Michele, but they have found his twin sister Natasha. A flashback shows Andrej fleeing with two children on that fateful day. The film concludes with the guard informing Michele's mother that Natasha is somewhere in Morocco. The movie ends here. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like and comment to support the channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.